Your rabbit's nails have gotten a little long. You can hear the tiny click click on the floor, and you know you are supposed to do something about it. But every time you think about picking up those clippers, your stomach drops, because what if you cut too far and hurt them? That fear is completely normal, and honestly, it is the right instinct to have. The good news is that trimming a rabbit's nails at home is one of those jobs that feels terrifying the first time and turns into a quiet 5-minute routine once you know the steps. I'm a rabbit owner, not a vet. Everything here is the routine I use on my own bunnies and the stuff people keep asking in the Singapore rabbit groups, usually after they have nicked a nail once and gotten spooked. This is not medical advice, it is just one owner walking you through a calm, low drama way to keep those nails in check at home and being honest about when you should hand the job to someone else. Nail trimming is one of those skills nobody really teaches you when you bring a rabbit home, so most of us learn it the hard way, slightly panicking, with a wriggling bunny and a clipper we are not sure how to use. My goal in this video is to take all that uncertainty out of it, so by the end you know exactly what to do and exactly where to stop. Here is what we are going to cover. The small kit of tools you actually need, how to hold your rabbit so neither of you panics, how to find the crick so you know where to stop, exactly what to do if you do nick it, how often this needs doing, and the honest line for when you should just let a vet or a groomer handle it instead. Let us start with the tools, because the right kit makes everything calmer. You want small cat-sized nail clippers, either the scissor style or the guillotine style, whichever feels steadier in your hand. You want styptic powder or plain cornstarch from the kitchen as a backup. You want a towel, a few of their favorite treats, and if you can, a second pair of hands. That is the whole kit, nothing fancy. A quick word on what not to use, because this is where people go wrong. Skip the human nail clippers. They are too small and they crush more than they cut, which is uncomfortable for the rabbit and harder for you to judge. Skip the big dog clippers. They are too clumsy for a tiny bunny nail and you lose all your precisions. And please skip the electric grinder tools that some people swear by for dogs. The noise and the buzzing and the vibration makes most rabbits panic, and a panicking rabbit is exactly what we are trying to avoid here. Small cat clippers, that is the sweet spot. They are cheap, you can find them at any pet shop, and one pair will last you years. Now the holding, which is honestly the part that decides whether this goes well. There are 3 ways that work and you pick whichever suits your rabbit. The first is the burrito. You wrap your rabbit snugly in a towel, sit on the floor with them on your lap and bring out just one paw at a time. The towel makes them feel held and secure rather than exposed, and it keeps the other 3 feet tucked safely away. The second hold is to bring them up against your chest, supported like a baby, with one hand holding the body and the other doing the trimming. Some rabbits actually settle really well held this way, tucked against you where they can feel your warmth. And the third, which I think is the easiest of all if you have someone around, is the 2-person hold. One person holds the rabbit and pets them and keeps them calm, maybe offers a treat, while the other person does the actual clipping. Share the job, and it stops being scary for everyone. Whatever you choose, keep them low to the ground or on your lap, because a rabbit that feels like it might fall will struggle, and a struggling rabbit is when accidents happen. Never hold a rabbit up high or let their back feet dangle in the air with nothing to push against. Okay, now the bit everyone is afraid of, finding the crick. The crick is the little blood vessel that runs inside the nail, and it is the thing you do not want to cut into, because that is what bleeds and stings. Think of it like the pink part under your own fingernail. There is a living bit near the base, and a dead bit at the tip, and you only ever want to clip the dead tip. If your rabbit has clear or light-colored nails, you are in luck. Hold the paw up to a good light, near a window or a lamp, and you will see a pink line running part way down the inside of the nail. That pink line is the crick. You simply clip about 2 to 3 millimeters beyond where it ends, out toward the tip, and you are nowhere near it. There is a comfortable margin there, so you do not need a steady surgeon's hand. You just need to stay clearly past the pink. Dark nails are the trickier ones, because you cannot see the crick through them, so you go slow and you go small. The trick is to clip just 1 millimeter at a time, and after each tiny snip, you look at the cut end of the nail straight on at the cross section. If the center looks light and pale, you are still in the safe dead part of the nail and you can take another small slice. The moment you see a pink or red dot appearing in the center, that means you are getting close to the quick, and you stop right there. Light means keep going. Pink or red means stop. So the whole rule for the quick is simple. On light nails, see the pink line and stay well past it. On dark nails, shave a little at a time and watch the cut end change color. When in doubt, take less. It is always better to leave a nail slightly long and trim it again in a couple of weeks than to rush and cut into the quick. Nobody is grading you on how short you got them. And work one nail at a time, calmly, with a treat between paws. If your rabbit is the type that needs bribing, you do not have to do all of them in one sitting either. If your bunny has had enough after one paw, that is completely fine. Wrap up and finish the rest tomorrow. A half-done trim with a relaxed rabbit beats a full trim with a traumatized one every single time. Now let us talk about the thing you are most scared of. What happens if you do nick the quick? First, breathe, because it happens to almost everyone eventually, and it is not a disaster. You will see a little bleeding from the tip of the nail. What you do is apply styptic powder, or that kitchen cornstarch, straight onto the end of the nail, and then hold gentle pressure on it for about 30 seconds. The bleeding from a nicked nail usually stops within a minute. That styptic powder or cornstarch step is a normal household first aid thing. It is not medicine, so keep some in your rabbit kit before you ever start, the same way you would keep a plaster in the bathroom. The reason I say have it ready first is that the one time you actually nick a nail is not the time you want to be rummaging through cupboards while a drop of blood sits on the floor. Have it within arm's reach every single time you trim. Now here is where I draw the firm line. A small nick that stops within a minute is a normal mishap, the kind almost every rabbit owner has caused at least once. But if you ever have bleeding that just will not settle, or it looks like more than a small nail nick, that is not a sit and wait at home situation, and it is not something to fix with a tip off the internet. That is a call your rabbit savvy vet situation, and you get them seen. For the ordinary little nick though, powder, pressure, done. Let me reassure you on the pain side too, because people worry about this. A quick is a blood vessel, so a nick stings and bleeds a bit, the same way it does for us. But a small one that you have managed with powder and pressure is a minor thing, not an injury you need to agonize over. The rabbit will usually shake the paw, hop off, and be completely fine. What matters is that you stay calm, so they stay calm. So how often does this whole thing need doing? For most rabbits, a trim every 4 to 6 weeks is just part of normal care, the same as topping up hay or cleaning the litter tray. Some breeds and some bunnies grow faster. The Rex types, for example, often need it more like every 3 to 4 weeks. And senior rabbits, even though their nails grow more slowly, still want regular checks because they are less able to wear them down themselves. The reason we keep on top of it, rather than letting it slide, is what happens when nails get too long. Left untrimmed, those nails curl back round and can press into the footpads, and that leads to sores and to a vet visit you really did not need. Overgrown nails also change the way a rabbit stands and hops, putting strain on the joints and making them more likely to catch a nail on carpet or a blanket and tear it, which hurts a lot more than a careful trim ever would. So this is genuinely preventative. A 5-minute trim every month or so is you saving your rabbit from a painful problem down the line. When you hear that click on the floor, treat it as your reminder that it is time. One Singapore-specific tip on timing. Do not try this in the heat of the afternoon. Our weather is brutal, and a hot-bothered rabbit is already a bit stressed before you even pick up the clippers, so you are starting on the back foot. Pick a cool morning or a cool evening, ideally in an air-conditioned room, when your bunny is naturally calmer and more willing to cooperate. A relaxed rabbit makes the whole thing twice as fast. And never ever force a rabbit that is genuinely fighting you. If they are thrashing, kicking, or really straining to get away, stop, let them go, and try again another day. Forcing it is how both of you end up hurt. And worse, it teaches your rabbit that the towel and the clippers mean something scary, which makes every future trim harder. And that brings me to the honest part, when you should just not do this yourself. If your rabbit is the squirmy, panicky type, and you genuinely cannot get a safe hold, do not battle it out. If you have nicked the quick a couple of times, and you have lost your nerve, that is okay too. There is zero shame in handing this job over. Plenty of perfectly good rabbit owners simply do not do their own nails, and their bunnies are perfectly happy. Here in Singapore, you have good options. Rabbit groomers will do a nail trim for you, typically somewhere in the range of $30 to $50, and a lot of vets will simply trim the nails as part of the annual checkup while they have your bunny on the table anyway. So you can fold it into a visit you are doing regardless and not think about it again for the rest of the year. That is honestly a perfectly sensible way to handle nails if you would rather not do them yourself, and it has the bonus that a vet or an experienced groomer will spot a foot pad problem or anything else off while they are down there. If you want to find a rabbit-savvy groomer or a rabbit-savvy vet, we keep directories for both on our site, and I will point you to them in a second. Let me pull the whole thing together so it sits in your head as one calm routine. Get your small clippers and your styptic powder ready before you start. Pick a cool part of the day, wrap your bunny in a towel, or get a second person to hold. Work one paw at a time. On light nails, clip well past the pink line. On dark nails, shave a millimeter at a time and watch the cut end. If you nick it, powder and pressure and move on, and do the whole thing every 4 to 6 weeks. That is it. That is the entire job. The first time will feel slow and nervy, and that is fine. By the third or fourth time, it will be a quiet little ritual. Your rabbit half asleep in a towel, a treat between paws, you snipping away while half watching TV. The fear fades fast once you have actually done it and seen that nothing terrible happens. You have got this. If you found this useful, come over to singaporerabbit.com. We put out a free weekly digest for Singapore rabbit owners, and you will find our directories there too, including the groomer directory and the rabbit savvy vet directory I just mentioned, so you can line up help with the nails or anything else before you need it. It is all free and it is all made for owners right here. And if you are enjoying this, the next video walks through litter training your rabbit in a small HDB flat. The realistic version, misses and all. So subscribe and I will see you in the next one.